Greetings and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, where the Mexican Socialist Republic, the MSR, has completed the glorious and at times somewhat fraught conquest of Cuba. It was a close-run thing in the end. We probably did not manage the conflict as well as we could, but fortunately the dream team here, our three amazing generals, well, our two amazing generals and that other guy, did a stalwart job in capturing the island in the name of the Workers' Revolution of the Americas. And indeed, the bourgeois elite have been dealt with once and for all. And right now, I mean, we are in the Mexican Socialist Republic. I like to think that we're the good guys. You know, we like to do what's fair. And so we rounded up the bourgeois elite who were trying to impose peace, freedom, and democracy on the island of Cuba, in flying in the faces of the needs of the workers of the island, the downtrodden, the poor, and the dispossessed. So we rounded them all up, and we just sort of like shoved them onto like a raft and pushed them out into the sea. And if they can survive, well, fair dues, fair enough. If they can pull like a Captain Jack Sparrow and make it off to somewhere else, like, I don't know, maybe like America here or something, then you know, good on them. But in the meantime, we're going to just have a big party here in Havana. The streetlights are on, the party has been joined. Of course, the Mexican Revolutionary Army brought with it a vast supply of tequila. It's pretty much the fuel by which our troops operate, and we've set up standpipes in the street with tequila rather than water for the residents, just so that the party can like go on all night, all day, and all night. In fact, you know, let's just unpause it and let the party roll on as we make our future plans. So this war is over, the dawn has come, the party goes on. Gallardo, of course, is leading the party. Everybody loves Gallardo. Even the Cubans here already love Gallardo. I mean, he's such a cool and debonair guy. He's like strolling down the street. He's like, you know, picked up handfuls of Cuban cigars from the factories and is just handing them out to everybody that he meets, along with bottles of tequila, just in case they can't be bothered to go down to the standpipe. And, you know, he's stepping over the drunkards who are everywhere now. Everyone's cheering him. The Cubans are inviting him into their houses, you know, getting him to meet their daughters, and all of that good stuff. He's having a whale of a time. Frankly, I mean, we're at the point now where probably a movie is going to be made of his life by his mates in the Mexican film industry and or television industry, and you know, I think there is no greater individual that could have such an accolade upon him. You know what, I'm going to pause it again because I seem to be rambling on and time is passing, so let's complete that. So there we go. The invasion has been completed. Cuba itself appears to be quite happy at the moment, actually. Look, resistance is zero. Resistance is zero everywhere in the place, probably because they're all hammered on tequila. So we don't need to keep the army here, basically, is what it boils down to. So let's get Louis Farrell and his army of super coolness. He's like we've got these two awesome generals. We've got this guy who's just the best. I mean, everyone loves Gallardo. He's just so cool. And then we've got Martin Bustamante, who has an awesome name. He's not cool like Gallardo. I mean, this is not the face of a man who's like super cool or anything. And indeed, his army is called Super Cunningness, which I think is actually probably better described as ultimate cunningness. Yes, indeed. Definitely ultimate cunningness. The 3rd Legion of Mexican ultimate cunningness, because he's like a genius. He's like a tactical genius. We don't know how he pulled it off, but somehow he managed to snatch glorious victory from the jaws of defeat here when he went on the ill-fated conquest of the airfield. Let's get his troops gathered together in the port of Havana and ready to ship out. I think Gallardo's already assembled and ready to go, so he can head down, I think, to here, to Panama, where we are going to plan future invasions. I say that they're already assembled. They are also not assembled, actually, so let's just send them here, and then possibly there if they get around to it. Meanwhile, Louis Farrell, who is assembled and ready to go, we will send him, I think, up to keep an eye on this border. I mean, it seems to be all quiet, but, you know, it probably wouldn't hurt to have some troops in the area just to be on the safe side. We could maybe send them like all the way around the back here. It's probably a little bit quicker. Look, he can go here to Sonora. There we go. move to Sonara, and from there we'll deploy up along the border and keep an eye on things. Make sure that any economic migrants or American citizens in search of glorious socialist enlightenment are either welcomed or turned away at the border, depending on how we're feeling at the time. And such. We actually could do with the manpower. We're kind of low on manpower, so come migrants from the US. The promised land of the Mexican Socialist Republic awaits. We've got lots we need to do. We have lots we need to do. We have lots of alerts that we need to get through. We also have some stuff that we've kind of been neglecting. First things first, I'm going to change my law and government here. We got so carried away with our conquest of America and spreading the glory of the Communist Socialist Republic Revolution across the Americas, the Green Dawn, and all of that good stuff, that we kind of forgot to mobilize our state at all. And it's 1940 now. The world is at 100% tension. Things are hotting up even as we speak. It's going to go crazy very, very quickly. So I think we need to kind of get some of these things sorted out. And the first thing is to change our dull and inefficient civilian economy, which at the moment is giving us minus 30% the construction speed for our factories. We're going to step up to part mobilization, I think. We could go to war economy, but if we did that, we would be down to just 15% consumer good factories, but we would be at plus 20% construction speed for military factories. It's really civilian factories that I'm concerned about still, though. And we can always go to war economy later, I think. So we'll go to part mobilization. We'll keep a little bit of consumer good factories to keep people... I mean, someone's got to make the tequila, basically. Someone has to still be making the tequila, otherwise it's all going to go horribly wrong. Do you want to... And now the Cuban cigars, let's not forget those. Do you want to replace the civilian economy with a part mobilization? Yes, I definitely want to do that. That'll hopefully help to speed up our construction of things. We also have unfulfilled import requests because we still have this order going into the Netherlands for rubber, but they have no rubber. In fact, I think the Netherlands may well be... how is the Netherlands doing? Let's go and take a look. Where is the Netherlands? It's kind of... Oh, here it is. There is a little bit of the Netherlands here. It's still holding out, but how long it will continue to hold out for, I don't know. Amsterdam has fallen, that's really made the place considerably less, exciting and interesting as a holiday destination. So we'll leave them to it, and wish them the best. Although, frankly, I don't think it's going to help much. At least we don't need their rubber anymore anyway. So that's been dealt with. We've got no template. Yeah, I need to take a look at recruitment. We'll take a look at that in a second. We have 3 military factories. Well, let's take a look at it now. Before we sort out our factory production, I want to take a look at recruit and divisions and things, because we've got these motorized divisions that we haven't started to create yet. Let's edit our motorized division and let's give it a new name as well, because just motorized division, it's kind of a boring name, isn't it? So let's call them the Truck Boys. Truck Boys? Truck Chicos! Oh yes, the Truck Chicos. Now the main advantage of motorized infantry is going to be speed. We've got 12 kilometers per hour speed, so I'm going to primarily be thinking about these guys as kind of, plugging gaps in the front line if necessary, also driving around the Mexican Socialist Republic, and, dealing with any possible issues that might crop up, manning the border with the US, all of that kind of good stuff. So they don't need to be like a super duper, but we will give them some artillery, some support artillery, and we've got a combat width of 6 at the moment. I'm going to bump this up to 10, I think. A standard province has a combat width of 40 plus 40 times the number of regions that you're invading from. So basically the minimum is going to be 80. So we'll put this to, I think, 10. Like one complete row, which gives us combat width of 10, which makes a nice flexible division. We can basically kind of like have these guys go in to plug up extra combat width where we need it and stuff. It's not a brilliant division, like it doesn't have like enormous amounts of like attack and defense and stuff. Soft attack of 74.2, hard attack of 8.5. Let's just save that. 74.2, 8.5. If we compare that to the Division de Infanteria, look, 119. Hard attack of 14, but only a 4 kilometers per hour speed, and that's with a combat width of 18. I might actually add one more infantry to give us a combat width of 20. because it just stacks better. We can just fit things together more nicely then with a combat width of 20. So let's do that. Let's save that for another 5 as well, the Infanteria. We need to get loads of this infantry equipment built to re-equip everyone. I'm going to leave that as it is for now, but once this has happened, I might make new divisions for our more advanced equipment as that becomes available. So we'll start making more customized divisions in the near future, but for now, let's just train up some truck chicos. We'll train these up, I think, in somewhere fairly central, but with access to a port for quick shipping to different parts of the place. We'll train them up in the Yucatan. There we go. Like we're doing with these guys here. That can be our sort of deployment area. What is this anyway? Jungle. In the jungle of the Yucatan Peninsula, where, frankly, everybody is just, you know, hanging out in the trees, living in tree houses, swinging through the branches on vines, and other things like that. That's how they train. That's how they get themselves prepared for war around these parts. Good, you carry on with that, guys. What else have we got? Free military factories. Okay, so now we've got unfulfilled requests. We need some trucks. And we don't need support equipment at the moment. So let's take support equipment. In fact, we don't even need to take it off. Let's just convert this to trucks. And we'll get like some of our factories. We've got 12 factories working currently, so we'll have 4 on trucks, 1 filling up our artillery, total need of 83, and infantry equipment 2. We also have an extra naval dockyard. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in an order for some Class 2 submarines. We're expanding our navy. No longer do our canoes only float atop the water. Now they also will be able to go beneath it. And these are Class 2 submarines as well, so like, you know, like decent technology. We'll take one of our dockyards off of the destroyer and put it on the submarine, and we will actually send all of these to the fleets, which we should probably get sorted out. Let's just unpause it, and we'll take a look at our fleets whilst time begins to flow. So our first fleet, which really deserves a much better name than this, so let's rename it to the First Fleet. The first canoe fleet of Mexico, with, of course, Paul Suarez, identical twin brother to Martin Bustamante there, and, you know, all-round awesome individual. Not as genius, presumably, as Martin, but he did join the military, he did join the Navy, because, in fact, he basically formed the Navy when he, like, started his one-man crusade to row all the way around Mexico, keeping the seaways safe from his canoe. So, there we go. He is the first canoe fleet of Mexico. We might as well put our destroyers and stuff to immediately join his fleet, which was kindly pointed out to me that I could do instead of having to manually assign everything all the time. So that's good. We do have these other ones here. Look, we've got this one, which I think we'll just bring over to here. We'll stop the patrol, we'll bring them in, we will connect them up with this other destroyer, and then once they're all together and ready to rock and roll, they can go out and continue their patrols in their glorious Mark II destroyers. Let's actually take off the day-night cycles and notch the clock up a little bit. Time can roll forward. Research finished. Support weapons 2. Excellent. The development of automatic weapons, which combine their aspects of light and heavy machine guns, allow versatility in how our infantry employ their equipment. Plus 5% defense and breakthrough across the board. That's excellent. I think if we'll just leave it paused here for a second. If we're going to invade here in South America, there's lots of mountains, especially in Colombia, which is going to be like the first port of call, basically. So it might make sense to have some special forces trained for mountains, and there are a lot of mountains. Look, I mean, all the way down here, basically, Chile is just like one long mountain range. And even up here in the north of Mexico, I think, you know, we've got a lot of mountains ourselves as well. So some specialist mountain troopers would probably not be a bad idea. So specialist mountain infantry 1, which would give us bonuses in hills and mountains. Movement plus 20%, attack plus 35%, defense plus 10%. You know what? It's a pretty big bonus. Let's do it. Let's research them. I know we're kind of a little bit all over the place with our research. What can I tell you? It's the Mexican Socialist Republic way of things. We have a lot of voices calling for different things. Gallardo, of course, always calling for more and better and cooler infantry techs for his troops to play with and stuff. So we kind of have to listen to him. You know, he's Gallardo. I mean, how can you not do what the guy says? He's so charismatic. He's the best. Transmission from Hungary. Hungary has declared war on Romania. Ooh, Hungary. What has Romania ever done to you? Hungary has joined the Axis. Boo, Hungary. Not that we really have anything against the Axis, because of course it's over here in Europe, and frankly, it is completely irrelevant to us. And also, over here in the Far East, Japan continuing its war on China, but doesn't seem to be doing very well, does it? Look, they've been well pushed back by China. At one point, they were like, conquered all of this bit, didn't they? But they have been pushed right back. China holding its own against Japanese aggression there. Good for them. Not that we care. World news. Netherlands has capitulated. The writing was on the wall for this one, wasn't it? The Dutch government has gone into exile and their main forces have capitulated to the German Reich, who is now in control of their home area. Uncertain times for those Europeans. We'll leave these troops here for the time being. I don't know. We'll send them somewhere when we've decided that it is time to, do that. I don't think we need to worry about garrisoning here. Oh, Romania has joined the Allies. Because everyone seems perfectly happy. Now, there is supposed to be a way for me to change my occupation rules, my occupation law for this state, but honestly, I have no idea how and what it would do even if I did it. So we'll just assume that they're perfectly happy. Research finished on the tactical bomber. Excellent. We'll get started on production of those, I think, in just a moment. Maybe switch our close air support over to tactical bombers. Or maybe we could just go straight for tactical bomber 2 or fighters. Or maybe we could just leave aviation altogether for a minute because, well, there's so many things that we need to do. Maybe we could make use of our ahead of time bonus here. We've got a 50% ahead of time bonus for mechanized or 100% for anti-tank infantry 1. We haven't really faced tanks. I think mechanized infantry could be a nice step forward for us. What does mechanized infantry actually do for us, though? Mechanized infantry is infantry equipped with armored personnel carriers or infantry fighting vehicles for transport and combat. Mechanized infantry is distinguished from the motorized infantry in that its vehicles provide a degree of protection from hostile fire, as opposed to soft-skin wheeled vehicles, trucks or jeeps for motorized infantry. Sure, let's go for some mechanized infantry. We'll make use of that ahead of time bonus. Research the mechanized infantry. So be it. Once again, Gallardo has swung us with his desire to have the coolest and best toys for his infantry divisions, his infanteria divisions, I should say. We have low manpower, but we need like 300 political power before we can change that, I think. Conscription is what we'd be looking at. Service by requirement, 300. We could go to extensive conscription, that's 5%. Service by requirement is 10%. So this is probably as far as we would need to go. We might have to go to all adults serve, but I guess we'll have to decide. When we get to 150, it might be worth just grabbing extensive conscription, and then hoping that'll be enough to see us through until service by requirement may be needed at some point down the line. All the more reason to get higher tech stuff and a better, more well-equipped infantry, and indeed armed forces in general. Oh, here we go, look. Louis Farrell has arrived! He has arrived! Well done, man. Let's distribute your forces along the border here a little bit, just to keep an eye on things. We don't really want people in deserts if we can avoid it. We'll put some on hills. Look, we'll have 3 guys on the hill here. In fact, you know what? Should we just set this as a front line and see? Set it as a front line, and then everybody assign to the front line and see where he decides to look at the arrows just everywhere. See where he decides to distribute his troops. We'll leave it up to Louis Farrell's reliable judgment to man that front line, just in case there are any economic migrants waiting to come across. National focus completed. Armor effort. Excellent. The next thing I think we need to do, as much as I would like to maybe get special forces because of these mountaineers that we want, and or start getting some research bonuses on aviation, really we need to kind of armor ourselves politically against the siren song of democracy coming from the United States with a bit of indoctrination. Plus we get political power out of it. We can do indoctrination, then we can follow it up with political commissars, which gives us another 200 political power. That's 350 political power, which should let us do everything that we need to do in the short term on our political side. Requires political correctness, yes. begin that. We must indoctrinate our leadership against the influences, the nefarious influences of the United States and its allies. And indeed, its movie industry, which is nowhere near as cool as the Mexican movie industry, which is just flourishing right now under the leadership of Dino Enka, and indeed with the inspiration of Gallardo Magna here, who is probably thinking about becoming a movie star, considering how much attention he's been getting from those guys. But first, he needs to lead at least one more glorious campaign here in the south, which will kick off fairly soon. Let's send one of these divisions to the border just to kind of have a poke around and to see what he can see and come up with. I don't think we need to put anybody in training. We've got plenty of army experience right now, and we'll get more. We'll bring these 5 divisions down here as well, I guess. How is everyone like preparing troop-wise? I think they might be equipped, you know. Let's take a look at our production. We need 27,464 infantry equipment 2s. We are not making that many. What are we recruiting here? We've got a division to Infanteria under construction. We'll just make one more of these, I think. And then we'll crank out a couple of truck chicos to like drive back. Let's put an extra unit on to produce simultaneously with the others, and I think that's probably enough for now. And we're so low on manpower, we can't really afford to recruit anybody else at the moment. Once we sort this out, I think that will be the time when we can launch an attack. Look, 2 guys, is that all? Is that all? Is that all you've got? Let's make a front line here. So these guys should be getting reinforced, actually. That's probably why our manpower has gone down. They should be getting reinforced slightly because of the extra division strength that we wanted them to have. Yeah, combat with 20, see? We've got fresh troops have come in. They are currently equipped with 110 infantry equipment 2, 362 infantry equipment 1, and 417 basic infantry equipments. So, I mean, that's good. What we can do, we can be smart about this. Look, let's be smart. Let us be smart. Edit this. We're going to duplicate it, and we're going to make this the Infanteria Bravados. Infanteria Bravados. And then we're going to make these elite and save them. There we go. So we've now got a second set, which is the Infanteria Bravados. We're now going to edit these, and we're going to change the division equipment like this. Update. There we go. Now, what we should be able to do is select all of these guys and change them. Change division template. Here we go. We can change these to the Infanteria Bravados. Are you sure you want to change the division template to Infanteria Bravados for this unit? It may take a while for the new equipment to arrive. We need 100 infantry equipment, 14,000 available, 1 towed artillery, 0 available. We'll gain 0 manpower. Okay. So, basically what we've done is we've said the troops in Gallardo Magna's glorious 1st Legion of Bravado and Joy are going to be the elite troops, and they're going to get the first pick of the good equipment. In fact, they're going to be, for now, the only ones who actually get the infantry equipment too. We can do the same thing with these guys, because they're going to join the army. So we want, even though they're kind of new, look, they've got basic equipment. Weapons 1, weapons 1. It's terrible. We're going to make them Infanteria Bravados as well. Okay, we've got to do it for all of them individually. So we'll just do all of these guys. Denmark has joined the Allies. The German Reich has declared war on Denmark. Whilst we are messing around with our infantry divisions, making them all Infanteria Bravados. Okay. And you as well. Okay. Good. There we go. So they have all been assigned. Hopefully they will all get the best equipment. We'll now assign them to the 1st Legion of Mexican Bravado and Joy, as they are indeed Infanteria Bravados. We'll assign them to the front line as well. There we go. In they come, hopefully without suffering too much attrition as they march through the jungle. Once they're set up and encamped here, they're fine. Look, they're not actually suffering any attrition because they are in position. Up here, wow. Wow, the Americans are back. Oh, perhaps they never left. I think maybe it's just because we've actually got troops like manning the border now. Like all this time, well, we say that they're like, you know, hordes of American infantry manning the border, but actually, are they? Is that the case, or are they perhaps instead simply the economic migrants that we know are desperate to come in to the Mexican Socialist Republic? And you know, frankly, for our manpower, it would probably be good if we did let them in. But we're not going to, so we'll just leave the border somewhat haphazardly defended here. We might want to beef this up a little bit. I don't think, you know, I have heard on the grapevine that the USA will not invade us at the moment because, look, they guarantee our independence. So apparently they won't invade us because even though we've been taking over countries whom they guarantee the independence of, they guarantee our independence as well. And perhaps this has simply confused them mightily. And, you know, their generals are saying, well, we must attack. And their politicians are saying, but then they wouldn't be independent anymore. And we guarantee their independence. So we cannot possibly do this thing that of which you speak. Could we, like, get rid of that somehow? Anyway, indoctrination has been completed. Excellent. More indoctrination against the evils of the USA's freedom and democracy doctrine that they are attempting to foist upon us. Having established our ideology as based on the truth, it may be taught as truth. Education and media must reflect this lesson. Yes, quite right too. Indoctrination office. Let's get some political commissars as well. We've got 279 political power. We'll keep getting this up to 300, and then we'll go for some more hefty conscription. But of course, that will all have to wait until next time, as we'll possibly trying to see about giving America more of a reason to attack us. I'm not sure if we want to do that. I mean, really, it seems like that's a bit foolish at this point in time. We should probably wage glorious war here in the South Americas first, and then once we've got a nice solid region down here, we'll think about, you know, is it time to unleash the mighty Mexican Socialist Republican war machine upon the United States of America? But until that possible future, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I have been Weird Wizard, and I will see you later.